Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today for our Canva workshop. My name is Matt.
I'm Wes.
And we are here to help you with a problem a lot of churches are facing.
Yes, because churches today are needing attention-grabbing media to really stand out, but you also want to be visually compelling in the ways that you give people the good news of the gospel. But there's just one problem, Matt. Most of us are not graphic designers, and most of us are running on a budget that is very small or maybe even $0 when it comes to doing church media.
Exactly, and that's where Canva comes into the story. Today we're going to show you how you can use Canva to make really awesome visual media and elevate your visual media game for your church and for common things your church needs. Now, if you ever need or ever have any questions about Church Connect or anything else in ChurchTrac, in your ChurchTrac account, there's always the orange help button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. So if you're ever in your account, just click that orange help button. You'll be able to reach out to the support team anytime to ask any questions that you have about your ChurchTrac account, including how to make Church Connect look great and how to use Canva for Church Connect.
Yeah.
But Wes, there's some other resources churches have.
Yes.
Let them know about the YouTube channel.
Yeah, so before we even dive into all the Canva stuff, I just have to reinforce that YouTube channel that we have. We post so many amazing videos on there, not only about ChurchTrac software and everything, but just ministry in general. Mm-hmm. And so lots of videos, I think over like 130 or 40 on there, so check those out.
And we'll be posting this video on the YouTube channel in just a few days, so definitely subscribe if you want to go back and watch anything we talk about here. We also have a great Facebook group. If you're a ChurchTrac user or if you want to just check out ChurchTrac before jumping in, go ahead and join our Facebook group. It's a community with thousands of ministers around the world that love ministry and love ChurchTrac, and they would love to help you with either of those things, or both.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this. Today we are going to cover just three basic things. We're going to talk about why Canva in the first place.
Yeah.
We'll talk about using Canva templates, and I'm going to show you several templates for several things that your church typically needs. And we'll also cover some tips and maybe have a little question and answer session at the end if you have any questions.
All right.
All right, let's get into it. So starting off, why Canva?
Yes, because there are so many things out there that do graphic design, and there's
Right.
so many platforms. And so when it comes to doing church media, I think Canva is one of the best platforms for churches to be able to do that, Matt, because number one, it's easy to use.
It's absolutely easy to use.
Much like our software, it's something that your typical person can kind of dive in and feel their way around and figure it out
Yes.
pretty quickly.
So, like the most popular graphic design program is probably Photoshop. I would say Photoshop is the most recognizable. All of us know about it. But few of us know how to use it. And there is a very steep learning curve for using Photoshop. And we were literally just talking about this before we started this recording. It's expensive.
Yes.
It costs a lot of money. Canva, here's the thing about Canva. Canva is free for nonprofits. You as an individual can sign up and use it for free or subscribe to their pro subscription, but Canva gives their pro subscription to nonprofits for free. So your church can have an account for free.
Yes, but I think the biggest thing, besides the fact it's easy to use and that churches can get this awesome tool for free, is that it comes with so many templates. I'm talking templates for literally anything you can imagine. And you know, our last time we did this live stream on Canva, we were like diving deep into just all the different features of Canva and stuff, and we hit some on the templates. And by the way, if you didn't see that live stream, you can check it out in our previous videos. We'll put the link in our description, in our video description. But today, we're more so focused on the templates in Canva and just ways that we could really utilize these templates.
Yes.
So I'm excited, man. We're going to dive into this.
So let's just go ahead and jump right on in to the first template that I think most churches would love to use Canva for, and that is church forms.
Yeah.
So like connection forms, especially when getting in contact with guests that show up and you want to reach out to them later in the week. Prayer request forms, volunteer signups for upcoming events, or even like next steps, getting started in your discipleship journey with your church. You can create those forms in Canva. My pastor actually has created some forms, and I am relying on him a lot for a lot of ideas. He's kind of a Canva guru. He's a Canva ninja.
Well, he's got a really good eye for detail, and it helps to have people like that in your life that can kind of point you in the right way.
No, I'm not going to jump in and show you, I'm not going to search forms, because I've actually found that most forms in Canva are like really big sign-up sheets, 8.5 by 11, and it's mostly just like what you'd fill out at like a doctor sign-in sheet, like at the doctor's for a doctor visit. It's not the kind of forms that you're looking for your church. My pastor has taken the time to put together some forms, and he's actually allowed me to share them with you. So I have them here. These templates here, we are actually making freely available for all churches to use. I've got the template link. I've added it to an email. You all will be getting it in an email in just a couple of hours after this workshop, so definitely check your email inbox. If you're watching this on YouTube, I've added it to the description below, so definitely check that out. You can use these forms for your church. And here's how templates in Canva work for your church. This is not just a form and you print it out, because you're looking at it and you're probably thinking, we don't have that blue.
Yeah,
that's not our logo.
Colors.
That's not our church's name. I wouldn't use this, but you can change all of this. If I click on the background to this form, just by clicking off of one of the elements, in this top left-hand corner, there's an opportunity to change the background color. So if I click on this little tile, this new menu opens up to the left with all of these color options. So I can change it to some other color that my church uses. So if your church has colors and branding and that's already laid out, you can use that and apply that to this form, to this form template to make it yours. You can change the fonts. So like where it says, we'd love to connect with you, or in this little box here where it says, simply fill out this card to receive your free gift and get connected. If your church has fonts decided for your branding, you can select that here in this little drop-down menu on the left and change it. I know that was a very subtle change.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel important sometimes, but the little things matter. So you can create a very comprehensive and cohesive branding across all of your media, whether it be visual media or printed media. In fact, this actually comes out so nice. This is what this form looks like. My pastor has given me permission to share this with you. You can print this out for your church. And what's really cool is my pastor, if we go back to the template, this is not just one side. If I scroll down, this has another side to it, or another page. And so this is a double-sided form. And that's actually something really clever that my pastor did. We had several forms. We had connection forms, volunteer signups, next steps, and prayer requests. Mm-hmm. And he consolidated all 4 of those into 2 pages and then printed them onto one form. So now we saved a lot on printing costs, and it's also just simpler.
Oh, and we talked about this yesterday too, which is really cool, is because you have it two-sided, you can put that in the back of the chair, the back of the pew, and have one side out for one, and then put another one in next to it, but flip it around. And so, see, that's perfect. Yeah. And so it just makes it really easy for people who are visiting your church for the first time, or people that go to your church regularly, to be able to get connected.
Exactly. It also saves you on printing costs. You actually can order not just forms, but you can print things through Canva. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but right as you design it, right from where you're designing it, you can print that and order a whole batch of these right from Canva. So that's church forms, and that's how you can use templates. That's just a very brief overview. Again, we covered a lot of this in the prior Canva for Churches video that we have on our YouTube channel. Definitely check that out if you want a little bit more about like the brand kit. Because we did the deep dive in setting up that brand kit. The next template, the next thing that we know a lot of churches are using and would love to elevate is the church bulletin. So that little handout that you give people as they walk into the sanctuary ahead of worship that has the church name, probably some upcoming events and some information about the sermon. You can create really compelling and awesome looking bulletins in Canva.
And this is something I come across a lot of churches, Matt, especially when I'm working one-on-one or doing workshops, and I'll ask them how do you feel about your church website? But I sometimes will ask, how do you feel about your church's bulletin? So let's know in the chat, describe your church bulletin in 3 words. How do you feel about it right now, your current church bulletin? I'd be kind of curious to see.
That would be fun. I'm curious to see what people say. And that's because the bulletin is the first point of contact for the service. It's especially for guests. If they're new, they've never been to your church. Obviously, the welcome team is chatting with them and welcoming them, but they also will hand them that brochure, that bulletin, and they're probably going to be looking over it as they're sitting in the sanctuary ahead of worship. So this is one of the first impressions you give to your new guests. So let's make it look awesome. What are we seeing as answers?
Yeah, so in real time, Jennifer says we don't have one. Shannon says not that great. Sharon says not that great.
Aaron says it does the job.
It does.
It's good enough.
Well, and this is something I encounter with a lot of church leaders. They have like a bulletin that they created years ago in like a Microsoft Word, template they found online. And it does the job, but it doesn't present the information in a way that's just captivating. And so a lot of times we kind of say, you don't want bulletins that go in the trash, but unfortunately that kind of happens with a lot of church leaders.
Well, also, speaking of Microsoft Word, like if you try to make any change to that template, it just throws off everything else. Like if you move an image just a micrometer to the right, everything is ruined.
Don't even get me started on Microsoft Word right now.
So
I've had bad experiences.
Let's just do this from scratch. My pastor, like I mentioned earlier, Canva actually isn't great for creating the kind of forms that you're looking for at your church. My pastor built those forms from scratch. But you can use Canva templates. Canva has great templates for this, and I'm going to show you how to just jump in and do this from scratch. So in your Canva account, there is the search bar right here at the top, and I can just type in what I'm trying to create. So let's say I want to create a bulletin. I have typed in bulletin, and it doesn't produce the best results in Canva. So here's a little secret. What I have found that works best, and it actually matches what I'm looking for, is searching brochures. So if I search brochure in Canva, it gives me lots of options that look and feel like what I would want to hand someone when they come in to worship for church. So all I have to do is just scroll through all of these amazing templates, and every single one of these would honestly be a really good choice.
Some of those are really on point, like especially like I'm just thinking if you're like a business owner and you're like, wow, look at that.
I mean, if you really want to go nuts, you can pick something like this, and it has something to do with the Middle East and Turkey, and that has nothing to do with your church, but that doesn't matter, because you can open up that template, you can change all of that text, you can change the colors, and just use the basic layout to know where to place images and text and tell people about your church. From here, if I wanted to find a really cool template, let's just say I'm just going to go with this one. It's orange and blue. ChurchTrac colors are orange and blue, so I'm just going to be biased and pick this one. I'll click Customize this template, and that opens up a customizable version of this form. And now all I have to do is, since I have my brand hub already created, I've already got my logo and everything set up, I can just click on ChurchTrac logo. I can resize this real quick, remove this company's logo because that has nothing to do with us, and put that in its place. And obviously, let's just, we're pretending that this is really your church, that this is your church logo, not ChurchTrac, but this is how it would work. This is how you would create this for your church. All you have to do is just change the text, make it say what you want it to say, change a few colors. Remove these images and replace them with your own pictures of people smiling or worshiping or hugging each other,
baptized, whatever
people getting baptized, whatever miracles are happening at your church. If you've got a photo of it, add it to your brochure, and it pops. It looks really good.
It does.
And it's double-sided, so you can even have both sides of that form ready to go so that it has lots of visual real estate to convey the gospel and welcome people into your church.
And I think one of my favorite things about this, Matt, is the fact that it's so easy to quickly change out the text and everything.
Yes.
Because if we're doing weekly bulletins at our church, the last thing you want to have to do is feel like you're recreating the wheel every week. And so with something like this where you have a lot of things in your bulletin that may stay the same, like your social media and contact information, things like that, but then all the stuff that changes every week with different events that are happening at our church, or maybe just different scriptures you're wanting to share, things to coincide with the sermon on that day. I love that. It just makes life easy.
And it's, again, very easy to quickly make these changes. That's what's great about Canva, is like they made it really, really intuitive for non-graphic designers to jump in and grab something and make it their own and make it look great.
Yeah.
That's why we are promoting Canva. Most of us, like Wes mentioned, don't have a graphic design experience, and our graphic design budget is either almost nothing or literally $0. You can have Canva for free. You can have the Pro subscription, which gives you access to their brand kit and all of their other great features and templates and everything else that they offer. And you can quickly jump in and make everything look amazing at your church. I actually have created some brochures or some bulletins that you can use. And again, I'll have the links in the description below, and everyone watching this live will get a link to these templates in an email later today.
Yes.
But I'd like to show them off to you.
Yeah, these are going to make life really easy, I think, for a lot of churches, because we've already taken the time to build this bulletin in a way that a lot of churches will want to use.
Well, I've made a few bulletins actually, and it's just up to your preferences and also like your budget. And the reason why I made multiple is because some of them have like a lot of color to them, and others I made have a lot of white space, so it wouldn't cost so much to print. But if you have the budget, you can make something look really amazing. So like this welcome home, this is a trifold. And by trifold, and I know I'm probably giving our video guy a headache because he's switching back and forth between showing the screen and showing us. But this is what a trifold is. This is a trifold brochure that my pastor designed in Canva, and it folds in thirds, which gives you a lot of opportunities to make a lot of content and add a lot of information to that form. That's why I did the trifold. That's why I made a trifold bulletin, just because each like fold is another space to add more information. So, and also I wanted this to be very visually compelling. That's why there's this really big image. But you can resize this if you want to save even more and just move this image over to fill up less space, including this little background color that I added for a filter. So you can make this, you can change this, and you can take it and make it fit exactly your needs, even if you need to take something that looks awesome and works well, but still make it cost less for you.
Yeah.
So it can fit your budget. But again, this is just one template. You can change all of these colors. You can add your mission statement here, add information about the sermon, add lots of photos everywhere just to really make it sing and make it stand out. But if you want to save a little more money, I also have a bifold, which has less like color, less content, so that there's more white space and it's a lot more affordable to print.
Cool.
My pastor, the trifold that I was showing you, my pastor also is cool with me sharing this.
Oh, nice.
So you all will be getting a link to this either in the description below or an email later to use this. This isn't like a new guest thing. This is more if you come for the first time and you come back the next week, you can have breakfast with the pastor and he shares his heart and gives them this brochure. So
this is really neat, man.
This is something that you can use as well. I mean, I love this. I've been really impressed with my pastor when he shared this with me. I think he's got a good eye for things. But you all can use this as well for your church to welcome your guests and welcome everybody into the mission of your church.
And I just have to reinforce, like, the fact that you're a pastor, you're at a small church,
yes,
and it's not like you have multiple staff members doing these things.
We have one paid staff member.
It is the pastor.
Yes.
And so when it comes to being able to do a lot of church media and stuff, oftentimes that falls on the pastor or someone that can volunteer the time. And I think that's what's so cool is being able to have a tool like this, similar to ChurchTrac, where it's available to a lot of people at your church.
Yes.
But typically what you'll find is that couple people that are using it, and it's easily accessible.
Absolutely. So let's talk about something else that I know a lot of churches would probably really benefit from. I have been to a lot of annual meetings, like annual reports, and I've seen a lot of church financial reports over the years, just attending and being a part of churches. Most of them have been the most boring meetings I've ever been to. And it could just be me, like being handed a spreadsheet with budgetary line items.
It's not just you. I mean, if someone hands me a spreadsheet in church, it's not really something I get excited about.
Yeah. And so a business meeting or an annual meeting feels like a formality, and it feels like just an obligation that churches fill, and that just to share what's been happening at the church with the members, just to make sure everything's kosher. I think we could elevate that. I think we could do much better. And you can use Canva to create annual reports or financial reports that are actually fun to read, and they're not boring. And people will actually take them home with them and not throw them straight in the trash and forget everything that they read in it.
I have to drop this link in the chat. I'll do this, and I think we'll put this in our show notes as well. But we have an article about doing church annual reports, and we kind of touch on some of this stuff we're about to talk on. But yeah, that's a great resource there.
So in Canva, when you're in, let's say, January, and you're ready to throw together your annual report of everything that happened in the prior year and to get everybody excited for what's coming up in the next year, jump into Canva and just type in annual report. And the templates that they provide are incredible.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. This is probably the thing that I'm most impressed about with what Canva offers.
You were showing
churches.
me this the other day, and I was just like, this is available for free?
For free. Yes, churches can use this for free. So like, I dig this one. I don't know. This one over here with the black and white monochrome. And I don't know, maybe I just like black and white photography.
Well, the other thing that's nice about black and white is it's cheap to print, too.
It's much cheaper to print. And you can actually preview these templates before you jump in and start doing any work with them. So I can see each page. This actually, I think, has 10 pages that I can jump into and customize and make my own. And I like this. I like the layout. I like the feel of it. So I'm going to go ahead and customize this template. And again, this is something that I'm not going to walk through the whole process of making this because this is an annual report.
This would take us a while.
This would take us a long time. But again, the process of customizing it and making it for your church is very simple. Just change the colors to whatever you have in your church's brand kit. You can change these photos. Let's say, like we're in Jacksonville. I could switch this out for a photo of Jacksonville downtown, just to make it cohesive and make it sense. And I can put my church's name in here, say like Metro Church. That's the name of my church. We'll say Metro Church Annual Report. Move that up. There we go. And you can design this, and I mean, whatever you need and however you need to make this, you can make those changes so that it fits your exact needs. You don't have to use all 10 pages of this template. You can remove some. You can add your own.
Yeah, because I feel like some of these annual reports, they have a lot of good pages you're going to want to pull from.
Yes.
But then there may be a couple pages where you're like, we don't need a 10-page report. Our church only needs like 6 or 7.
Exactly. So. And one thing that I actually saw this, I saw this template earlier when I was getting ready to do this workshop. And one thing that I loved about it is it allows me to showcase something that I really love about Canva.
Graphs.
Graphs. Now, this isn't just an image. You can customize this graph.
Oh, snap. Yeah, that's cool.
I can make this fit our branding. So I can change all the different elements in this graph and then even change like the data itself.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
So I can make it do and say whatever I need it to say.
This is a feature I didn't even know about, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah. So Canva has charts that you can add and customize and control to give like visual data to do like an infographic basically.
Yeah.
So you can add all of those elements in your reports or in whatever templates you're using, whatever you're creating, and you can make it really sing and also fit your branding.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's awesome.
That's what you can use, and that's how you can use Canva for like your annual reports or your financial reports to make them look great and actually work really well for conveying the message of your church, the mission and vision statement, and get people excited for the year coming up at your church.
And I mean, like, so the last church that I attended did reports very similar to this.
Yes.
And what was so neat about having an annual report at a church that was very visually appealing, it was the same information I had seen at previous churches that I've been a part of and served
Yes.
at. But it was done in a way where it just made people actually want to look at it. And it made people like look at,
Makes
okay,
a big difference.
these are how many people we baptized.
Yes.
This is what our giving was for
Yes.
last year. This is how many missionaries we're currently supporting. And it gets your people super pumped. And one thing I've talked to a few church leaders that have mentioned this to me is that the annual report is an opportunity for them to showcase all these things. And when people see all these things showcased, it encourages them to get involved.
Yes.
And so more people
Absolutely.
that maybe had never given to your church and stepped out in faith like that say, you know what, I'm seeing a lot of amazing things happen here. I'm going to step out in faith and start giving. More people look at it and say, I've never been on a mission trip, but I see that we're supporting 37 missionaries or whatever. Or we've gone over here to Uganda. I want to be a part of that.
Yes.
And so it's really more than just giving your people information. It's actually calling people to action.
And we talk about this in that post that Wes shared in the chat for how to create an annual report. Mm-hmm. There are some really great examples we shared of churches that made some really cool annual reports. So not only can you use Canva and have those templates ready-made so that like 70% of the work is already done for you. You just change what's in that template. But that post goes deep into like what information to include in an annual report that really stands out and helps people get excited about the mission of your church and the future and want to actually invest in that future. So the next thing I want to cover in Canva is how to create a really awesome church logo. So if you're ever in the market to redesign your church logo or even do a full rebranding, you can do that in Canva. Canva will actually walk you through all of those processes. They can help you pick colors, they can help you pick fonts, they can also help you create the logo itself. Again, we covered all of this in the Canva workshop we did prior, so definitely check out that video. But I'm going to show you the templates in Canva for your church logo. And again, this is really simple and intuitive. This is the thing I love about Canva, is like you don't even have to think. You just have to type and know what you're looking for.
And just search, and their search is so powerful,
Yeah.
it just pulls everything
Well,
out.
I'm just going to type in church logo.
So you're really keeping it, wow.
And they look great. And again, you can customize these templates to fit exactly what you need. I kind of like this Christian Sun church logo, so I'm just gonna click on that.
The first one you see and you're like, I like it.
It's bright. It really caught my attention. But again, there's several others. If you want something a little more minimalist and a little more modern, that's pretty nice. I like this one.
Church slogan here.
So it's obviously just giving you the structure and some hints for how to use that template. But you can change anything here. So let's jump into, actually, you know what? I like this one. I actually used this when I made the logo for Potential Church.
Yes.
That's what this is. So you can take this template. I'll click Customize this template. And I can make this, I can change this to be whatever I want it to be. So I can change the colors to match our ChurchTrac colors. I can change the fonts since we've already got the fonts picked out. Europa Nuova Bold, there we go. Church, and then I can change this to Potential, and then this one to Church. Boom, there, done. I have a great church logo. If you like this, you can then download this. I'll say, and if I click the share button in the top right-hand corner of the screen, what's great about this is there's multiple ways that you can download this.
And this is super important.
Yes.
I cannot stress this enough. If you're like the kind of person that's not super familiar with like different file formats and stuff, when you're dealing with church logos or a lot of church media in general, you want to have options to be able to download files in a large size, also like PNG files, so you can have that transparent layer and everything.
So PNG allows you to download with a transparent background, meaning it's not like a block, a white block with an image in it. It's just that image itself, and it removes that background. So you can place that on your website, and it'll just take the background of that website.
Now, I do think you have to be on the Canva Pro subscription to have these features, which if you're a nonprofit organization, you can file to get that for free.
Yes. So that's one of the great benefits of using Canva for churches. They give nonprofits their Pro subscription for free. But there's a lot of different file types you can use, like the PDF standard or PDF print, if you want to take this to a print shop and have them print for anything, whether it be like cards that you're handing out to invite people to church or whatnot. So that's using your church logo. That's creating your church logo. You can then add this to your brand kit, and then that way, like if I'm in the brand hub here in this little dashboard, you noticed earlier I've got the ChurchTrac logos loaded in, and all I have to do is click on one to bring it into whatever template I'm using for that image. You can add that and save it into your brand kit for that brand hub. That way, every time you're making a new image, you can just apply that logo just to add that touch of professional branding.
Awesome.
We have, if you're interested in rebranding altogether, we actually have another post that I wrote called Free Church Branding Tools. I talk about Canva, but I also talk about some other resources like Coolers and FontJoy that allow you to create a really great color palette and font pairings, like multiple different font types to use for your branding. They're all for free.
Awesome.
And you can take what you get from Coolers and FontJoy and add it to your brand hub in Canva to then make it very easy and cohesive to create like really consistent branding across all the images that you create.
I just saw one people in the chat said that they used the Cleopatra Church logo from there, which is kind of funny. So, I mean, it just goes to show, like, these logos look so good. And I've been seeing a lot of churches as of late, just because we come across like probably a dozen churches every day. I'm looking at church websites.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's funny because I start recognizing some of these from just different PNG files that I pull in Canva because, you know, we're using it for other things too.
Yeah. So we're in Canva so much that we know when other people are using Canva for the images that they create. All right, so that's creating your church logo, and that's the church branding tools. Now let's get into the next thing that I want to show you, which is the sermon title card and slides. So you can use Canva to create a really cool sermon presentation, like the actual title image for the sermon, and then also all of the slides for the bullet points and everything else you want to help convey to the audience. This one, again, is very intuitive and simple. All I had to do was type in either sermon or sermon presentation. But But honestly, if you want really, really awesome templates that aren't like just specific to sermons, just type in presentation. And again, you can change whatever you find to match what you need. But even if you type in sermon presentations and narrow the search to that, it still gives you some really great options.
And I just have to point out, so I attended a conference a few weeks ago, and I saw one of the speakers, and this was there were hundreds of people in this room, and the speaker had a slideshow going on behind them. And I recognized that slideshow because it was one I had seen on Canva before. So if it's good enough for someone that's speaking publicly to hundreds and thousands of people across the country,
yes,
it's good enough for our church.
It's good enough for your church. I mean, this one really stands out. I know it's the very first one. I'll go ahead and select that. The David and Goliath. Giants aren't always what they seem. I love it. And again, you can preview this template before you even step in and start making any changes just to make sure it fits exactly what you're looking for. But this has amazing slides. This has incredible content. All you have to do is take and make those images or make the text fit the needs of your sermon to have those sermon points added in.
That's pretty incredible, the fact that we have a David and Goliath one already here ready to rock.
Yeah, man. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, if I take out the word sermon and just do presentation, it really opens the field up to a huge variety of different presentations that you can use just to convey the gospel in a very visually compelling way. So if you want something minimalist, here it is. You've got a really cool, very minimal, lots of white space, bold text way to present the gospel. It's just whatever your preference and whatever your needs are for your sermon, it's here.
Now, I have a little PSA because I see a lot of people talking about this in the chat, and I think we need to address it. So one thing that's pretty common is when churches that want to get Canva Pro for free and they submit the application to Canva, they get denied. Yes. This is actually pretty common. Doesn't mean your church is just never going to get Canva and never have access. It means you need to reach back out to them and let them know why you're using Canva. The biggest reason that we see churches get denied that nonprofit opportunity to have Canva is because the church isn't showing the value that they're bringing to their community with Canva. And that's something Canva, keep in mind, Canva is not a Christian company, and they want to see how is your nonprofit organization making a difference in your community. And you really have to show them that, hey, our church is wanting to utilize your software to be able to get community involvement, to be able to give back to our community. And if they don't see that, they will deny you. And in fact, if you join that, the Canva group on Facebook, I believe it's called Canva for Churches.
I think so too.
That's something you'll see them readily talk about. And so if you get denied, it doesn't mean you can't get it. It just means you need to reach back out to them, have that dialogue, and explain to them what it is you're doing for your community and how you want to use Canva to accomplish that and everything.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that, Wes. And thank you, everybody, for asking so that we could share that. Honestly, I've not known any church that just got outright denied and was never given that account. Yeah. It just required that they reach back out to Canva, ask them why the denial, what did we miss, what do we need, and they'll let you know, and you just give them that new information, and typically after that they give you the account for free. So next up is church events. A lot of churches have summer events that are coming up, whether it be like a 4th of July, fireworks and barbecue, or VBS, or summer camp. You can use Canva, to spread the word in a way that really stands out and gets people's attention. Just as an example, my wife, we did like a barbecue at our house with our church. We did it out front, and we invited our entire neighborhood to show up, basically turned it into a block party. And what's really cool about Canva is that it's so easy to create things and create really compelling images that this is the flyer that my wife created for that event. And she did this on the couch with her phone. Canva has an app that you can use to make these images from your smartphone. We ate dinner, and then I grabbed the kids and took them to the bathroom to brush their teeth, bathe them, put on their PJs, read them a story, and turn out the lights. And in that time, my wife had made this flyer while just sitting on the couch on her phone. And it looks great. We sent it all over the neighborhood. We had a huge turnout. You can use Canva for the same thing for your church.
And that's not like that thing that your wife created. I mean, it's something that didn't take her long, and it had a huge turnout. I mean, because you were telling me about all the neighbors that you got to meet and everything.
We probably had a total of 50 or 60 households.
Gosh, that's incredible.
It was a lot of people.
Man.
I'm glad we had a big enough front yard to hold all those people. It was a lot. So all you have to do in Canva is, again, just type in what you're trying to create. Tell Canva what you're trying to create, and it will feed you some great templates. So let's say you're doing a barbecue. I mean, that's what that event was. So let's say you're doing like a church barbecue. So let's just type in the word barbecue, and it gives me some incredible flyers.
I love that one on the right with the grill. Yeah.
The yellow one?
I don't know why I like it so much. It's just cool.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's simple. And you can use this. What's great about this is because I didn't tell it that I wanted a flyer, it's actually giving me multiple different template types. So like this is an Instagram post.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so you can use these for different like platforms that you're sharing. And you can even, what's really great about the Pro subscription is that you can resize images.
Yes. I mean, that in itself, like as a church, you definitely want the Pro subscription to be able to do those
the Pro
things.
subscription. So like if I click on, let's just pick that yellow one that you mentioned. Yeah, let's go ahead and customize this template. So I can put in our church logo. That's what it's prompting me to do here. So I'll just remove that text and put this in here. And again, this is a company logo, but you can put in your church logo.
Although I'm going to keep this in mind for when we have a cookout for the company soon.
Absolutely.
We need to do that.
So join us for our barbecue summer party. It's an incredible event. I can put in the date, time, and venue. So blah, blah, blah. Put in the address here and a great website. And also, you can even add some text like sign up below. Click the link below to sign up. And that will take people to where they need to go to sign up for this event. But if I also want to make a flyer out of this is just an Instagram post. I made this image to share on Instagram. If I want to make it a flyer, all I have to do is in the top left-hand corner, click the resize button. And this is your secret weapon for not just creating visually compelling and media, but also saving you time as you do this by giving you the ability to take the work that you've done on an image and then reuse that across multiple platforms. So I could resize this for Twitter, I could resize this for Facebook, I could resize this for a flyer, and I can resize this for like the church website.
And it only takes seconds to do.
All I have to do is click the resize button and then say flyer. Just type in the word flyer. So I can print a 8.5 by 5.5 inch flyer.
I did not know you could do that. I learned something new today, Matt.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
You can do 11 by 8.5, and I just hit copy and resize. It opens up a new tab, and now this is a flyer. And I can print this out. I can order these through Canva, and then have this sent out to everybody in like a neighborhood or in the area around where this party is going to be held, just to invite people. Or I can hand packets out to like our church members, and they can hand it out around their neighborhoods or around where they work. Easy. It took me seconds. All I had to do was tell Canva what other format I wanted this image to be, and it resized it to that need. That's all it took. That's
awesome.
Great. So it'll save you a lot of time, not just by using these templates, but also giving you the ability to use these templates across multiple different medium. So that's using Canva. I keep wanting to say ChurchTrac. That's using Canva for...
Well, I mean, ChurchTrac is just as awesome as Canva because it gives you all the tools you need to do so many things for a very small price.
Absolutely. So one of the last things I want to show you, and this one actually, I have to admit, was a little bit tricky, but it is worth the effort. And it's simpler it's pretty simple once you know how to do it. It just took me a while to figure this out.
So we're going to show them how to do it.
We're going to show you how to do it. We're going to show you how to use Canva to make really cool, visually compelling video announcements, or like adding elements to your videos at your church. So like the scenario in my mind that I'm thinking of is, let's say you have some really cool event coming up at your church. You want to invite the public. Like my church, we did an Easter egg hunt, and my pastor posted a video on Facebook and asked us all to share it so that everybody would know about the Easter egg hunt to invite the whole community. If you have something like that coming up at your church, maybe like your 4th of July barbecue, let's say you want to post that online, you can make a cool looking video that will grab people's attention and help them understand what they're watching. So I'm going to jump into Canva. I'm back on that main page. And in this top row here, it actually is already suggesting like different designs, or at least different templates for different things that you want to create, whether it be a presentation like for your sermon, or a brochure for that welcome brochure. But I want to create a video, so I'm going to select this video option here. Now, I've already recorded a video of myself that I'm going to add in here, and we're gonna customize this to announce some big thing coming up at the church. Okay. So I've already got this in my uploads folder under videos. Now I'm going to mute this because the audio is not what's important. I want to show you how you can add some really cool like visual components to this. And I'll go ahead and pause that so you don't have to see me wobble around on the screen. But let's say you want to add like a lower third.
Okay.
Just to let everybody know who this is. It's talking to them because you're sharing this with the public. So I'm going to go into the elements folder and search for some cool little thing that I'm going to put in the corner. Let's say I want just like a little rectangle so I can put my name here. Let's say I want like a rounded rectangle.
I just love being able to search exactly what you need. Rounded rectangle, and it pulls up like a gazillion of them.
So I've got a million options I can choose from. Let's say I want it to really pop. I'm going to say I want it to be animated. Here we go. I like some of these. I'm going to choose this one because it's already got blue involved, and that's the color that I'm going to choose for this. So I'm just going to resize this. I'm going to change the colors to match the ChurchTrac branding here.
Oh, look at that.
Boom. And now I'm going to add some text. Let's just say, let's pretend like I'm a pastor. Pastor Matt. Hey everybody, this is Pastor Matt letting you know about a really cool thing our church is doing. So I'm going to move this text back up in here, resize this. And here's the cool thing. Here's something that actually Canva just recently did and allowed you to do for like visual video media. I can highlight both of these things together. And in this little menu here above with the 3 dots for more, if I want to open up a different drop-down menu, I can click on this option to show timing. And I can control when this element appears in the video and when it fades out.
Oh, that's cool.
So if I resize this real quick, and then now that I've got this highlighted, I can also animate it. In the menu at the top, I'll click the animate button, and I can decide that I want this to, let's say, breathe, or how do I want to do this? I want to wipe it. There we go. We'll choose wipe. Boom, there we go. I want it to wipe as it both enters and exits the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Let's go ahead and start this video real quick just to show off how that works. So there's me introducing myself. Boom. There's the element. I just created a lower third. And you can actually create a custom lower third that you then use on all of your videos.
Yes, so you can keep that brand consistency.
Absolutely. So we talked about having a brand hub. Again, that's something we cover mostly in the prior Canva video that we did. But one cool factor about the brand hub is that you can create brand templates. So you can create an image that you then use across all of your media, and it's just stored in a nice little convenient folder in your Canva account. So one thing that I've done is I created an image. I'm going to create a custom design. These video dimensions are 1920 by 1080 pixels. So I'm going to click Create a Design. I'm going to say I want a custom size, and I'm going to choose 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. Create New Design. And I'm just going to quickly throw together a brand template for lower thirds.
Okay.
And I want to show this to show you how quick and easy this is to do. It takes seconds.
Now, by the way, I think you can just search lower thirds and there's already ones made too.
No, I actually searched and they're not great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not the best.
Okay.
So I'm going to make my own.
Well, there you go. It's not the perfect platform, but you
at
can
least
make
look,
your own.
maybe you'll see them and think these actually are great. Maybe it's just my personal taste.
Maybe. I don't know.
So I'm going to quickly throw together a lower third. I'm going to take this. I picked a square, just a square element, nice and easy. And expand this and shrink this down like this. Drop this down to the lower portion of this image. And in the elements, let's say I want like a dove to appear because I'm kind of partial to doves. Drop this here, maybe resize it so it's not too big. Add some text. Again, I'm pretending to be Pastor Matt. Make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. Change the color so it stands out. And now I'm going to click the share button.
Oh goodness, this is wild.
Download as a PNG with a transparent background. That's key. It needs to be a PNG with a transparent background. So
I have a feeling some people are going to have to rewatch this portion of this live stream, Matt, multiple times just to be like, how did you do that again?
Fast. It took me a long time to find a video, even made by Canva, that would help me do this. So if you are interested in this, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can watch this again when we post this to that channel.
We may have to do like a whole video series on just like different things you can do in your church on Canva, like just little clips.
But now I'm back in that video where I created that lower third just from scratch. I'm going to go to my uploads file and just upload that lower third that I just created. And you can see I actually tested this out already. So I'm just going to add that here and then remove what I created earlier. And now I have a very professional lower third that, again, just like I did with that lower third I created from scratch earlier, I can animate this. I can tell it when to appear, when to fade in and fade out.
That's super clean.
So, and that, again, I can make this a brand template, that lower third, so that I use that for every video I do going forward.
You literally just did all that in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It took seconds. Again, it took seconds because I've tried this out. I'm familiar with Canva. But again, this is just something that you have to spend the time to do to get familiar. The more you use Canva, the easier it gets to use. And you can start to actually develop that sort of muscle memory for where to go, what to do, what to search, and how to put something together very quickly. All right, so that's doing videos. Let's talk about probably my favorite. It's definitely the most fun part of using Canva for churches, and that is Canva for church swag. You can design shirts, hoodies, mugs. In fact, like this mug, my pastor made this for all new guests.
Basically anything.
This is not a mug that my pastor made. This is just a mug I bought from Walmart, but he made the decal that I slapped on it and turned it into a Metro Church mug. You can use Canva for like business cards. My pastor used this for a church business card for himself. You can make stickers and decals and bumper stickers. Again, you can also make shirts, hoodies, bags, everything. Again, all you have to do when you're on that main page is just search what you're trying to create. So let's say t-shirt. I just type in t-shirt, and it already gives me great templates I can use to make something look really fun for my church. But I can also just throw together something really basic, like if I just want a shirt with a logo.
Yeah, you can do that.
I can create a blank one, under Brand Hub, add the design, and then from here, this design is just here. I click the Print Shirts button in the top right-hand corner. And this is what's really cool about Canva. For most of the designs that I've made, you can order it through Canva, not just design it, which is super convenient. I highly recommend that you download the image and then shop around for lower prices for like another print shop or another t-shirt printing company. But if you just want to save time, you can just jump right in and order something through Canva. Also, what I have seen though, is that the more bulk, like the larger your order, the more things that you buy through Canva, the more competitive the prices get. They actually do have lower prices with larger orders.
Oh, okay.
With smaller orders, they're very expensive, but with larger orders, they actually get cheaper than most of what I've seen. But it's still worth shopping around and seeing if you can find something that fits your church's budget.
Now we're running out of time, but we gotta share just some bonus templates of just other things that we have found that are pretty cool for churches.
Yes. Again, you can design lots of really fun things like mugs, but you can also design fun things to give to your church that are digital, like phone and desktop wallpapers. I'll throw together one that's really quick. Let's say I want to do desktop wallpaper. Let's say I want to design something from here, but let's say I want to search for something specific like galaxy. I like space. It always looks fun to look at. Let's say I want to add some text to it. Galaxy background or space. There we go. This is fun. And now I can just throw some text together, or I can even pick something else if I don't like what I originally picked. And then from here, I'll just delete that one. There we go. I like this because it already has text here for me to customize. Let's just say I want to throw together and make something fun. God made that. Because he did. God made that. God made that. And I can add another little element like a arrow. Boom. Change the color. Resize.
That's awesome, man. This is actually such a neat idea. I've never thought of this as a church, like making little things like a background for your people's phones or like a wallpaper for their desktop, whatever. It's just little things that can just kind of get your church's name out there more and people thinking about your church more and stuff.
So like what I'm thinking of, just to work smarter, not harder, take your sermon title card and resize it for a wallpaper and for a smartphone background.
Yeah.
That way your members can take that with them everywhere they go. And every time you do another sermon series, do that again. Just resize it and give it to everybody.
And you can keep doing this for things like YouTube thumbnails. So when your church is wanting to post your sermons online, you can, instead of reinventing the wheel every time, you have your YouTube thumbnail that you use, put that over there, maybe tweak the title, everything. There you go. You're ready to rock.
Absolutely.
You even mentioned like yard signs, like being able to easily use this to create things like yard signs for different church events and stuff, especially things like VBS or camp and stuff like that, having those branded yard signs to go along with it.
So you can just type in yard signs, and again, you can print these through Canva. What's cool is they even give you a preview of what your design looks like, so you can even make sure that it actually looks and feels and has like the text font size big enough so that cars can see it as they drive by, stuff like that. So go ahead and apply as a nonprofit for Canva Pro. You need to have Canva Pro to utilize all the features of Canva and really like use it to its fullest potential.
That's tip number one, because as a church, you don't need to pay for Canva. If you're a nonprofit, you can get that for free. Just to reinforce, whenever you do reach out to Canva, just make it very clear to them that your church is wanting to utilize their software, so that way you can give back to the community and how you can use it to communicate with your community and everything. Really big. And then the other thing you talked about earlier, that brand hub.
Yes.
And we talked about that in our previous Canva live stream we did months back. And you can check that out and see how you can utilize the Canva brand hub to really just make your life easy when it comes to using your logo over and over again on different templates.
Well, let's show you real quick the brand hub folder in Canva. So when you're on the main page, when you first access your Canva account, in the top left-hand corner, there's that little main menu. You can hide it or have it displayed all the time, but the brand hub is tucked away here. So if I click on this folder, I've got the ChurchTrac brand kit already loaded up, and you'll see that all of the ChurchTrac logos are already here. So you can add your church's logos in multiple different, different colors or designs. You can have your entire color palette added here so that you can just quickly add those colors to the designs that you're creating. They even recently added more fonts that you can customize so that you can have a full-fledged, a fleshed out font scheme for your church.
And if they don't have the font that you currently use, you can upload one too, which is kind of cool.
Absolutely.
That's what we had to do.
And then if I go back to the main brand hub, there's the brand templates folder. So this is where you can load your templates that you reuse across everything else that you're doing, like your lower thirds and your sermon title cards and everything else that you're creating. So if you use something over and over again, you can just add it as a brand template.
And then a couple other tips that we recommend as well, like resizing is probably one of your best secret weapons, just because you're not having to redo everything. You can just resize things that you're going to be using for different mediums. And then the last template, and this is one we use all the time, is add other team members.
Yes.
Canva, I already said that, people are using Canva that you would least expect. You would think that, these people are using expensive graphic design tools and they have, a whole team doing these things. No, a lot of people and a lot of companies are using Canva as a way to do amazing church media. We're case in point. Here at ChurchTrac, we have a team that does graphic design stuff in Photoshop.
They're on the other side of that wall.
But for a lot of other things we do, we utilize this tool because
I use it a lot.
And I added you to my team, and so that's the nice thing about it, is adding your team. So that way, not only can they have access to all these tools, but adding your team and being able to look at each other's content and collaborate, that's a big thing.
So just like with ChurchTrac, giving you the ability to add all of your other members and leaders, definitely add your other leaders to Canva, because I know a lot of you are probably like the sole secretary or administrator at your church, and you know that you'll be the one designing everything in Canva if you start using this. But make it easy on yourself. Add your youth leader, add your children's minister, add your worship leader, add your pastor, so that they can jump in and make designs for their little corner of the church, and it doesn't fall on just you. All right, so that's it for our workshop. That's all the templates that I have available for you today.
There's a lot, man.
We're definitely going to have to do this again because, I mean, I just touched on the video editing side of Canva. I'm going to do a deep dive into that in the future, and we'll definitely have a live stream ready to go for you for that in the coming months. So definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wes, do we have the chat open for this?
The chat is still open if you're in Vimeo, yeah.
Yes, if you have any questions about Canva, if you have questions specific to your Canva account, reach out to Canva support. Yeah, we are not Canva support.
Yes.
But if you have questions about using Canva for church, go ahead and ask them in the chat. Like I was mentioning earlier, though, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will post this video so that you can rewatch anything that you want to go back over. And we'll also share any other upcoming workshops, any like how-to videos for your ChurchTrac account, and other just hour-long workshops that we do from time to time.
And I'll go ahead and post the link here, but we have our Facebook group. That is such a great place to not only talk about just ChurchTrac, which, I mean, we didn't even talk about our software much because our heart is really to help equip churches to be able to build the body of Christ. And so I love that we get to do this for a living, Matt. We get to just help churches utilize software and utilize all these different tools to be able to make much of the name of Jesus.
Absolutely.
And this is just one of the tools that we found to be able to do that.
Again, we're not affiliated with Canva either. I meant to mention that at the top. We're not paid by Canva to tell you about them. We just understand the potential that Canva has to help your church convey the gospel and get people's attention. And again, check out the Facebook group. You can ask for advice there for how people are using Canva and ask for like ideas or inspiration there. And if you ever have questions about your ChurchTrac account, reach out to the support team. Click that orange help button in the top right-hand corner of your account. Send us a ticket. We would love to help you out.
All right, now we have a few questions. We don't really have too much time for questions, but I want to see if we can tackle a couple of them here. And some of these questions may be just things that are going to take too long to explain, so I'll read some off here to you, Matt. Actually, my eyes are failing me.
Do you have anything for using Canva with Church Connect? Yes. Actually, we have an article in our user guide that has templates for creating Canva images, or not Canva images, but Church Connect images in Canva. So go ahead. Wes is actually going to grab that link here. It'll take him just a second to pull it up. But he's going to give you that link to that article so that you can use those templates. But the answer is yes. You can use Canva to create Church Connect images. Honestly, you can create your own custom images. Whenever you're adding a custom design in Canva, just let Canva know that you need it to be 1,200 pixels wide. That's the only requirement for Church Connect images for your Church Connect app, that they be 1,200 pixels wide, and you can make them however tall you want from there.
And Donica actually asked a good question. Do you have any templates for Church Connect website? Yes, that's in that link I just put out there. And if you're watching this at a later time in the future, hello future, you'll be able to find all that there in our user guide. You can actually just search that search bar in our user guide to find anything you need. It's there.
Awesome. Any other questions?
How do you print bulletins right from Canva and what format? That's a loaded question.
No, it's not in what format. That's not a loaded question. That's actually pretty easy. I'll go ahead and open up, if David will show this on the screen. I've got this trifold that my pastor created from here. Whenever you're in your design, in the top right-hand corner when you're done creating everything, just click that print trifolds or print whatever you're creating button. It's right next to the share button. And it opens up this new menu that gives you a preview of your design. So this is...
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? I didn't even know that was a thing, Matt.
And what's wild is, like, if you want to do just a front and back design, you just create a second page, and then you can decide whether or not you want, what you want on that front and back. So I can have just a one-sided document if I want to save costs or if I don't have, like, a lot of information I'm trying to convey. Or I can say I want page 2 of my design to be the back.
Okay.
There you go. So that's how you order that through Canva. I can then decide how many I want, and I can even decide like the finish, if I want like a matte finish or a gloss or an uncoated. And then this again, like I shared earlier, whenever you're ordering prints or ordering anything through Canva, the smaller your order, like one of these is $9.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't want to spend $9 per trifold. So I can order 1,000, and pay only $250. It's 25 cents per print. That's
actually
very competitive.
Very reasonable, yeah.
Yes.
It really just comes down to your volume, like, because you may have a printer located near you that can give you half the cost of what Canva would charge, but there may be some situations if you're printing enough, Canva may be so close that it might be worth just going through them.
Like my pastor, he prints everything through a local shop. He just has a relationship with a guy.
Yeah.
And it's also a little bit cheaper for him to do that. So it is worth you downloading the image as like a PNG or a PDF print, and then taking that to another website or a local shop and asking them if they can give you better rates than what Canva can. But it is also very convenient to just go ahead and print from the same place you're designing. So if you just want to save time, yeah, just go ahead and click that print option and run.
Yeah, and then like Cindy was asking, I want to save it and print my own printer. Yeah, just whenever you export it to the right format, whether it's PNG or JPEG, and you're ready to rock.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
I think those are really the only questions we can address, because some of them I saw earlier just kind of get deep into Canva stuff, which I would highly recommend going to the Canva for Churches Facebook group, just because that is really the best place to go to find information on Canva related to churches, or reach out to them directly. But our Facebook group, I mean, we have a lot of cool things going on, and so many of you in this live stream today are ChurchTrac users, but even if you're not a ChurchTrac user and you're just kind of checking this out, that Facebook group is such a great place to be, and that's just Facebook, the ChurchTrac users group on Facebook. And that link will be in the video description later as well. So when you watch this later on YouTube, you'll see all those things in there.
So go ahead and check it out. Thank you very much for joining us today for the Canva workshop. I hope it blessed you and helped you elevate your church media game, your visual media game at your church. Definitely subscribe and follow us on all the socials just so that you can keep track of everything else that we put out. I hope you have a blessed week.